like cryptocurrencies a lot less than you do. And so, to me, it's just dementia. And I think the people who are professional traders that go into trading cryptocurrencies, it's just disgusting. It's like somebody else is trading turds and you decide I can't be left out.
Shut the noise up.
Give me music, 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 music. The late doctor, he's growing on ya. His lines are insane, he's your crack and dopamine dealer. The late doctor, the crypto doctor. He's got what you need, he's your vitamins and painkiller. The late doctor, he's growing on ya. His lines are insane, he's your crack and dopamine dealer. The late doctor, the crypto doctor. He's got what you need, he's your vitamins and painkiller.
The signal is the truth. The noise is what distracts us from the truth.
The late doctor, he's growing on ya. His lines are insane, he's your crack and dopamine dealer. The late doctor, the crypto doctor. He's got what you need, he's your vitamins and painkiller. The late doctor, he's growing on ya. His lines are insane, he's your crack and dopamine dealer. The late doctor, the crypto doctor. He's got what you need, he's your vitamins and painkiller.
Hello everybody, welcome to Bitcoin Daily, 9 a.m. Central European Time on the dollar. We do the show every day, Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. because we gotta know what's happening in Bitcoin, altcoins, USDC, Silicon Valley Bank, the Fed pivot, CPI numbers and stuff like that, right? We need to know all of these things, right? DXY, stock market is opening right now, today, and you know, everybody wants to know whether this is gonna continue towards upside, or we're gonna get rejection from the very important lines right now on the chart. We had a big pump yesterday, big pump. It broke certain stuff towards the upside, which is very, very nice, very, very bullish move. We need to see continuation of this now going, you know, into these numbers. So it's gonna be very interesting to see, you know, whether that's gonna be the case or not. Now, before we start, first of all, I'm terribly sorry for the 18 minutes wait time that's been going on. I started the stream, then I had to go to the toilet, then I had to do some other stuff, of course, and then, you know, 18 minutes goes away. I didn't mean to have, you know, 18 minutes intro. First of all, I'm sorry about that. Beside that, how's everybody doing in the chat? The central plan, when absolute 100% scientific bottom. We had scientific bottom, 22, 11, 22, never again coming to those levels. Vivian, morning. Garrett, good morning, folks, how you doing? That's some CME gap, yeah, but you know, who cares about CME gaps? Christovan Nierk, let's go. We gotta know what's happening. Oh, how is this gonna pump or not? Good morning, everyone. XRP Legend, good morning. S, what's up? That beach looks better every day. Yeah, the beach looks nice. The beach definitely looks nice. New so bearish, time to be bullish. It just might be that. If you remember yesterday's live stream, Bitcoin Daily, I said when I am in fear, it is often an indication of some kind of bottom. Like every time I get in a stupid amount of fear and panic and I want to sell, it's oftentimes, you know, indicates that, you know, a lot of other people are into the same, you know, mentality and we pump. So there is that. I don't think I'm gonna make it through the stream. Was up most of the night. Well, TM, thanks for stopping by. Stanko, dobro jutro. Just closed my best trade this year, 150% on OP long trade. Wow, nice, very, very nice. Trollfix, crash is coming, maybe. Gort, there are complicated times, maybe this is time to ask the 8 ball. I don't know, maybe. We're gonna check it if you're gonna ask the 8 ball a little bit later. Bitcoin is right now pulling a little bit towards downside. Look at the small time frames over here. You see up here, it's going a little bit down. It went up here, consolidated, broke the trend right now. We are going to pull back. Small time frames. Dr. Karlov, good morning. Even my wife is getting used to the fact that Bitcoin Daily and our morning coffee is having the same rhythm. Cheers. Nice. I don't know if that's around 10 p.m. or 10 a.m. or 9 a.m. But we're gonna try to get it, get it down to 9 a.m. Roshan Army, how you doing, man? I'm not trading crypto. Oh, bank run. Yeah, so people are talking about bank runs. We're gonna talk a little bit about that. I'm gonna show you a video from a scammer and his thoughts about what's good or not for the space. So there is that. We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about scammers, of course, and we're gonna talk about hacks. The FUD is all the numbers coming out this week. Yeah, so stuff is happening this week, definitely. Mac, same. It's not the bottom. So there are still people that believe this is not the bottom. That's fine. We might get the bottom, we might not get the bottom. The biggest bullish move that we did yesterday was actually getting a higher low on the weekly time frame. Guys, we get a higher low on the weekly time frame. Not only that, we get a higher low on the weekly time frame, but we also have bullish divergence up here. Hidden bullish divergence on the RSI. We're still below zero line here on the weekly time frame. That said, as you can see up here, we did not get above the 10 moving average, we did not get above the 50 moving average. We tapped the 10 moving average up here at 22.6, and right now we are pulling back. So will we get another red candle up here towards downside? That might be, that might be the case. We are not quite there yet, There are still levels that needs to be broken towards the upside and so forth, so forth. So we're gonna look at that. But when it comes to chart over here, it does look very, very nice. Let me just go a little bit back and get my lines up here. There we go, and let's go to the 4-hourly time frame. So you're gonna see here that we came on the 4-hourly. We went above the 50 moving average. We went above the resistance, guys. The downtrend over here. First of all, we went, we broke this resistance over here. There was some kind of, downtrend over here that we, fell through and, came up above. It went something like this over here. It was very skewed towards downside, right? Maybe something like this, give or take. It doesn't matter. This was a resistance line over here. We broke that towards the upside, which is very, very nice. But not only that, right now we are breaking this a lot more important line of resistance. You can see up here that we broke that, and right now we are pulling above that line. Even if you pull this line all the way up here or something like that, this might be that we came to the resistance up here. But yeah, I used to draw it over something like this up here. We are above that. The only way that we are not above the line is if you pulled all the way up here or something like this over here. So you can see we are hitting that resistance. The big question is whether this is the resistance line or not. Besides that, we have a bigger channel right now, which is actually quite nice. I'm going to show you the channel. And on the daily channel over here, right now we have a pivot point on the downside. We have a pivot point on the downside. We have this pivot point over here. So we got a two pivot points on the downside, which gives us this very nice channel up here. You can see how nicely channel this has been confirming the midline as well. And we are in the upper part of the channel, which is a little bit bullish. Still not out of the channel over here, a bigger channel up here. This is something around 23.8, give or take. We need to get above these levels up here, but it's not as fearful as we have been lately. We're gonna talk about this guy, but before we come to that, fear and greed index, right now it's 49. It went down to 33. I think the lowest was 32 3 days ago, something like that. You see here, last week neutral 48, 48. So right now we are neutral levels 49 after yesterday's pump, but we have been in fear just before that, down here at the bottom. And there was this line over here also that there was this line over here also that was a very important line of resistance, which we broke down. We tapped the bottom down here. We went up, and right now I can see up here again there are resistance level that needs to be broken for us to become super bullish, guys. So this move up here right now, the only thing it did, it went up to the resistance up here. We just saw that there is a resistance line up here. Are we at the resistance? Are we gonna dump down? Big questions that needs to be answered. It's a little bit hard. It's a little bit hard. That said, yesterday we were on the bottom down here. Not yesterday, yeah, before that, 2-3 days ago, we were at the bottom. 200 moving average weekly was 20 moving average 2-day time frame, 50 moving average bounce over here nicely towards the upside. It looks like a reversal pattern on 2-day time frames up here, but you can see up here, 10-20 moving average, getting in there, giving us some kind of resistance. 20-50 moving average giving us some kind of resistance. Weekly we got a 10-50 moving average up here is still channel. It does look nice, but it can also reverse towards the downside. It also can reverse towards the downside, and we are not in established daily option on a weekly time frame. On a weekly time frame, we have broken 2 trends over here towards downside, which is actually very nice. This is the first trend that's actually broken. This over here is the third secondary trend that's broken. So on the weekly time frame over here, we are not falling this fast, we are not falling that fast. We are right now going to some kind of sideways trend over here after breaking this line over here, and I still believe that. And when we're up here at the top, move down here towards these 20 moving averages, even all the way down to the line is probable. We would not like that, going down there. But the problem up here, if you go down to the line, if you fall down a lot like we almost did, altcoins just suffer big time, right? Bitcoin, yes, sure, Bitcoin drops down like 20%, 10, 20, 30%, but altcoins suffer like 60% another move towards the downside, right? It just decimates all the altcoins. So that was my biggest fear, because I do hold some kind of altcoins, right? That said, we are on a weekly, weekly trends have been broken to 2 times. Over here right now we have some kind of side trend, but if you look at the daily trend over here, we are not in established daily option over here. So over here we have we had first move up here. You can say this is the first move, right? So this daily option over here got broken up here. We pull a lower low up here. We right now have a channel that goes towards downside. So technically we are in a daily downtrend. Although we are in a weekly sideways trend, we are in a daily downtrend. So we gotta be a little bit skeptical about how much this can actually pump, because if it pumps, it's gonna be good. It needs still establish some kind of move, but we did create a lower low down here on the daily time frame. Now, when it comes to daily time frames, these are not big things, because it actually goes something like this over here, lower low up here, also up here. If we create up here some kind of higher high, this is gonna be higher high up here, right? Because this is daily trend, so we cannot look at just these major pivot points. We have a lot of candles up here, and the pivot points on the daily time frame comes up here somewhere, right? This is a pivot point. This is a pivot point. There are two small pivot points over here, maybe just one pivot point down here, pivot point over here, down here, and right now. So for this move up here to break the daily trend, we gotta get above this line over here, and that's gonna be something like over here, like let me just change this to default, 22.4 give or take, right? So the daily trend changes. It already looks like we broke the this last part up here. But if you look at this part over here, this looks broken, but like we just, drew this last line up here, we see that we are not quite above that trend yet over here. But above 22.4, we get this, higher high up here, and people might say that, the daily structure is broken. So the daily time frame is still, the way I see it, in some kind of downtrend over here, even after this pump towards upside. So, we cannot just, start playing the Dodge Daddy and everything's gonna be fine and dandy. We gotta see, we gotta move more. But the price action doesn't look that dumpy over here. This look like explosive top. The second top up here broke the trend over here right now. Right now it's looking for some kind of pullback over here. I think might go a little bit more up, maybe looking for pullback, maybe just goes towards upside, but more likely this is gonna look for a little bit pullback up here before it actually continues towards upside over here, I think. So we're gonna see that, but you see that we are at major resistance line. So up here, 20 moving average on the daily time frame, weekly time frame up here, we hit this 10 moving average. Monthly time frame, we are again in this space between the 10 and the 50 moving average, but we still got something like 18 days left, so we're not gonna look at too much on the monthly time frame. The most important part is that weekly time frame up here did break the trend 2 times. you know, break the trend 2 times up here. This is the first trend broken, this is the second trend broken right now, and right now we are not even going. So right now we are in some kind of sideways trend, but the daily trend, the most important thing, the daily trend is still towards the downside after we broke that. So after this break, you know, after this, you know, break of this uptrend over here went down, right now the daily trend is still towards the downside. So keep that in mind. Although we are not, you know, stupidly bearish, and we are not expecting some kind of, you know, dump down to 4K right now. Down over here it could have been very dangerous if we start breaking down, but the fact that we didn't do that, it shows just that there is a lot of bullishness in the market, guys. There is a lot of bullishness market and like that. So the fact that we did not break this, you know, move towards the downside is actually very, very good. So if you remember down here, we've been, you know, in last Bitcoin daily, we've been looking at this rising wedge up here. People have been talking about this breaks down. I've been looking at this breaking down, and I've been looking at, you know, for selling opportunities, you know, to get out of the market and buy, you know, 20% lower if this was about to happen. But then I had to go to work, and I was like, and my theory on this was, if I want to sell, the thing is, I didn't want to sell up here because we are still, you know, trending sideways, right? And I definitely saw that probability towards upside could happen because, you know, some kind of, you know, bounce, whatever, right? But it did look, you know, with all the FUD around and my emotional instability being very on the edge, I really wanted to sell over here. But my theory was, if it breaks down over here, there is also a channel up here. If it breaks both the channel and the wedge towards downside, I'm gonna sell, get out of the market, whatnot, right? So I actually managed to hodl. I didn't sell anything, and this broke towards upside. Now the break up here towards upside exploded this towards upside because this was an uptrend line up here. This was an uptrend line, and we broke that uptrend line very, very nicely towards upside. You can see this red candle pulling back to the support and then bouncing back up there again. So this was actually a very, very strong move. And then there was a bigger channel up here that went something like this up here. Over here there was a bigger channel, and you can see up here, even this bigger channel up here that was made, even that broke towards upside. So 2 times we broke this rising trends towards upside. So short term, like 1 hourly, 4 hourly, stupidly bullish. Daily time frame still in some kind of downtrend. We still need to do certain, you know, small moves towards upside. The price over here doesn't look that bearish, or you see this is 1 hourly time frame, but it's not, you know, immediately dumping down. We didn't, you know, just stay up and go right back down. We're definitely going to try to, you know, maybe again try to break towards upside up here. This is a small move towards downside, so you know how this plays up on the small time frames is not that very important, but it doesn't look that bearish. It doesn't look that bearish. So there is that. It does look okay. Daily time frame right now going towards downside. Wyckoff last move down. Yeah, so everybody's talking about Wyckoff, and we haven't been looking at this channel too much about Wyckoff because Wyckoff played out before. And what we are actually looking at is the 2014 button, right? So we are looking at this part over here. What people understand, this is the Wyckoff pattern as well over here. And we've been looking at this move over here and how we are right now, somewhere over here where we bounce towards downside. You can see even here, after this big move towards downside, we had some kind of pump up here to the moving averages, right? And then we moved back down again, right? So right now we have a little bit bigger pump up here, but you know, there is this, you know, trend line over here. And oftentimes you go up to the trend line and then go towards the downside, right? So this trend line up here needs to be broken towards the upside. And I don't want to go into, you know, why we are at this part over here, but you know, if you watch other videos, you will know that we are actually on this part over here right now. When it comes to Bitcoin, if you look at the, you know, Bitcoin versus 2014 button, but these moves towards the upside do tend to come up here to the resistance. What we need to do is break this resistance and avoid this move down here, right? That's gonna be a big thing. So right now there's a lot of uncertainty. It might have been some kind of scam pump. We had a live you know, show yesterday where we talked about whether this is a spring or a scam pump, and we are hoping for a spring. But the spring for happen, it needs to do a little bit more than it's doing right now. So let's go back to the chart over here and see that we have the same line up here, or give or take up here. We just had a nice pump up to the resistance up here. We need to break that resistance and we need to break the trend, because right now over here the trend changed right now towards the downside over here, right? So the daily trend needs to be changed, and that's when we get above this move up here. This might have been the spring, guys, and I do really hope that we break this towards upside. If this breaks up here towards upside, this is almost confirmed spring towards upside. This is gonna be extremely stupidly insanely bullish. It is gonna be extremely insanely bullish if we actually break this towards upside. If you remember, I've been saying that a lot of these big moves that come come just after a spring. You go into some kind of spring, create, you know, massive fear, and after that fear you bounce towards the upside. And right now we are creating the spring over here, but for the spring to actually, you know, manifest itself on the charts, we need to break, you know, break the trend over here. So we are in some kind of you know, daily uptrend up here. We broke that. Right now we are in a downtrend over here, so we need to get back up here inside this, you know, previous channel over here towards upside. And but once this is done, once we are above these moving averages, and once we can actually hold the price above there, it's pretty much confirmed. It's pretty much confirmed the spring is in, and it's only a matter of time before this actually goes to the resistance up here, and then, you know, if it breaks up here, that's 40, you know, 46k after that. You know, it's almost 100% 46k if it breaks the uptrend line up here, right? So there are two, you know, this was the trend over here, right? We broke that towards downside, creating a spring right now, trying to get back inside the channel. If we get inside channel, it's, you know, the spring is almost certainly in effect up here. It's gonna retest this channel towards the upside, but if it fails up here, it, you know, it might drop down. But on the other hand, if it breaks the channel, you know, resistance line on the channel, this is 100% the biggest, you know, pump you're gonna see maybe this year. I don't think that, you know, after this pump there will be any kind of pump like this, if that happens, right? If that happens, if you go up here above these levels, that will be the biggest pump of 2023, and then we have to wait, you know, then we have to wait for 24 and 25 before we actually get the bull market top. But this might be the biggest pump of 2023 if we break this resistance up here. I'm telling you, saying right now, if that happens, that's gonna be big, right? But first thing first, we need to break this line over here, and as long as we haven't broken this line, this might mean just a retest up here, and right now we might go towards downside. So the bad moves are gonna come back when we go below this line down here, below this previous bottom over here. So we don't want to do that, right? You know, if you go create some kind of double bottom up here, that would be very nice. But if you go below these levels over here, that's gonna be, you know, terrible. You know, terrible. So we, of course, we gotta break above up here. Guys, a lot of FUD out there. There is talk about, you know, there is talk about bank runs. There's talk about, you know, people taking out money. I haven't been keeping up with all the news and all the banks and all everything what's happening. I did see that at least, you know, from the latest, you know, notifications up here on WatchRigger that yeah, hey, it's SBC, you know, bank in England holding agrees to acquire Silicon Valley Bank for $1, for £1. So they are buying entire bank for $1. That's the, you know, they're taking over custody of the bank. Whether that's good for the bank or not, you know, what they're gonna do with all the cash, you know, what they're gonna do with all the stuff, I don't know. But they're taking over the bank. They're taking over bank, and whether that's good for the you know, people that have money in the bank or not, I don't know how that's gonna play out. What I do know is that USD reclaimed the peg, guys. The peg is reclaimed up here at $1. Right now it's actually above 1. It's a 1.0002. It was a little bit higher. It reclaimed the peg. So, you know, USDC FUD is done for now. Over here there was still a lot of selling of USDC, but right now it's reclaimed the peg, and it is working as expected. The Silicon Valley Bank already collapsed. It's already over. There is new FUD about the other bank called FRC or something like that, right? The people are, you know, doing the bank runs. People want their money out, but these are what they say regional banks. Although they are big banks, they're not that big. It's not like JP Morgan or Chase or, you know, these big 5 banks that are falling just yet. So I don't see actually bank run happening just yet. Here in Norway, I have zero, you know, problems with not, you know, taking my money out of the bank just yet, because if it starts, you know, if bank runs start in the US, it's gonna take a little while until it comes to Norway, at least that's the way I see it. And when I say a little while, it could be a day or two, but, you know, you'll see bank runs in you know, in US, and then, you know, it's gonna take a while before, you know, mainstream population gets into fear and start pulling bank in Norway, right? So you know, I'm looking for US to go on the bank run first before something happens here, but I don't see the bank run just yet. I don't see the bank runs just yet. You know, I mean, there might have become some kind of news out about bank runs, but I haven't seen anything that. I haven't seen anything that, of course, girls on the Twitter. I haven't seen anything on Twitter and stuff like that. Huge, only serious kind of for the world's principal reserve currency. So I haven't seen much when it comes to bank runs. I've seen that crypto tips are talking about bank runs, but that's not that. Guys, there is one thing I want to talk about today, and that is scammers, of course. This is Bitcoin Fund Manager. I don't know if you know who this is, but he talks about SVB Bail. It's a Bitcoin Fund Manager. And you know me, guys. You know me. I love scammers. If there is some kind of scammer, you know I'm listening to that guy. Before hacks, I was listening to Richard Hart. Everybody was calling Richard Hart a scammer, and I was watching like his live streams like regularly, like every time he has a live stream I was like, is he talking right now, right? So I like scammers. This is another scammer, and this guy is actually might have been it might be a legit scammer, like 100% crypto scammer. He might be that, but it really does matter. It really does matter. I do listen to the guy because these scammers, these people that are not bound by the box of common ideas and thoughts. These guys have ideas outside of the box. They look at the things a little bit differently, right? Richard Hart, this guy, there are other people, right? They look at stuff a little bit differently. So it's important to listen to what they have to say, because they are not bound by the same rules that me and you are. They're always thinking outside the box. So this guy, I do appreciate his thoughts from time to time. And when he's shilling stuff, like there was a coin that he shilled, it's down like 60% right now. He be shilling for 1 year, like it's never pumping. Every time he makes a video about a coin, it's like it's gonna pump. It's never pumping. That said, I like his thoughts. Now he's talking here about the pivot, and the rate hikes. So we're gonna see what he has to say about that, because right now everybody thinks that, and I've seen it talk about that the Fed is gonna need to stop with the rate hikes, and that's gonna be very good for the market, right? Because low rate hikes, market pumps. But let's see what this guy says about it. Okay, so it's only 1 minute long, so we're gonna check it out. I think he's more scammer. Look behind him. I don't know what this is. I don't know what he is doing over here with this thing up here. Use dark theme with Twitter, bro. Our eyes are burning. Nah, yeah, but I like Twitter, when it comes to that. Okay, let's see what he has to say.
Seventh fact is that whenever the Fed did a pivot or cut their interest rate raising spree, the market crashed. Weird. I know, it's just weird as hell. Google it. Whenever they do a pivot, then everybody just kind of relaxes and thinks everything's going to go great, and that's when all the elites cash out. So the Fed doing a pivot and being more dovish, from here on, the economy is going to be great. It actually does the opposite. The markets crash. Everything's going to crash. So basically, you don't want the Fed to pivot. You don't want the Fed to be less hawkish. What you want is the Fed to raise interest rates so that prices dip, and then you buy the dip, is what you want to do. Now, is that what's going to happen? So now we know what the goal is. Now let's go straight through and review the facts.
So he goes more into these kind of things. I haven't watched the rest of the videos. I will watch the rest of the video, but it is yeah, and the voice is back now. It is what he says when the mainstream thinks, oh, right now it's a good times. It is when you go down, right? So when general population, when mainstream retailers start feeling bullish, that's when we drop down. So we kind of maybe just don't want to be, you know, overly bullish, or, you know, we don't want, you know, the mainstream to be overly bullish, because then euphoria hits and we go down, right? So whether the, you know, whether the pivots, you know, whether we want, you know, the rate hikes to continue or not, that kind of depends. But I just want to, you know, put it out there that what if he's right? Like, what if we do get rate hikes and everybody becomes super bullish? We have a one pump, and everything, everybody thinks we're going to continue up, and then we start dropping down for some other reason, right? Fed only pivots to prevent major crises. That's never bullish at first. So it might be that. But I've seen, you know, people talking about, you know, rate is going to stop, you know, they're going to stop printing money, the economy is going to go back up again or whatever, right? So, yeah, I thought it was interesting to, you know, hear his point of view on that. So there is that. The DXY, we can talk a little bit about DXY. We said that this 104, if it breaks down, it's kind of game over. It went to the 100 moving average right now, pulling back up here, but it looks like it's still breaking down. So the DXY looks like it's still on the way down. This is small time frames, guys. This small time frames, but it still looks like it's a little bit, you know, moving towards downside over here. It had a lot of, you know, days, red days, so it might have a green day or something like that. But it still looks like on the daily time frame it's pulling back up here. So we're gonna see how much actually this continues. Stock market was up over here all the way up to 3.9. Let's go to the up here. You can see up here is the stock market up here opened when up Friday, Sunday. So we opened up here, we went a little bit down, then up, and right now we are going back down again. So stock market is going down again. Big moves towards downside up here. It's dropping big time hard over here towards downside, but these are 4-hourly time frames. Daily time frames we are still you know, pulling it down. Still not, you know, if you look at the weekly time frame. So what's happening, you know, on 4-hourly time frame and even daily time frame is a little bit unimportant. What's happening on the weekly time frame is important up here, and it's already looking bearish, guys. This move towards upside right now, move towards downside, failed to break up. This actually does look like it wants to break towards downside over here. This over here was also a very bad move up here towards upside. It does look like it wants to break down. This MT up here, sorry, Nasdaq, where is Nasdaq? Yeah, Nasdaq wants to pull down. The Dow Jones wants to pull down. The S&P 500 wants to pull down. The DXY looks like it wants to pull down here a little bit, but it's only on the small time frames. Only on small time frames, because if you look at the weekly time frame up here, you'll notice that the weekly time frame up here, you know, it's still holding this trend over here, right? It's still holding trend right now, you know, even though if this, you know, 4-hourly daily pullback might happen, it still might bounce right up off the support up here, right? Off of the support, because we get this, you know, option line that's never got, you know, tested after the breakdown down here. So are we gonna have this, you know, DXY move towards the upside up here? It kind of depends. It kind of depends. I'm not really good at, you know, analyzing the economy and how these things are, you know, inversely correlated or correlated. But right now the stock market is down 0.2% on Dow Jones, 0.02% on S&P 500, and it's up 0.29% on the Nasdaq. On the Nasdaq, Bitcoin is down a little bit again over here on the daily time, on the hourly time frames up here. As you can see up here, pulling back up here after hitting this resistance. So whether this is good time for short over here, it depends. It depends. We had a nice move towards the upside. This you know, this breakout towards the upside was very bullish. It, you know, it propelled us all the way to the top. We got a lot of people, you know, retardedly you know, euphoric on the move. But I'm telling you guys, this move is not done yet. It needs to break. We need to break this resistance line. So yes, we are at resistance. The time is that you know, new shorts are coming in. They're trying to push the price down off the resistance. If we break that resistance towards the upside, that's gonna be very, very good. Overnight, big tank past few hours. Yeah, it was up. Fed only pivots to prevent. So we still gonna see what's gonna happen during the squeeze all the shorts overnight. On futures now, they are in lack of liquidity. It might be that, but the stock market is not open just yet. You know what? Norwegian stock market is actually open. Indexes. Norwegian stock market is open. So Norwegian stock market is down on the day by, you know, 1.5%, which is a big dump. This is Oslo Borsa. Norway is down big time. UK 100 is down 1.3%. UK 100 is also down. It's still going down. Weekly up here, weekly. Russian stock market is going into the shoe pattern and is ready to, you know, pull off. I don't know what the Russian stock market is doing. Is it anything else that's open? Nifty is open. Nifty is down a little bit up here. FTSE, no, the FTSE is not open because Dow Jones and everything else. But the Norwegian stock market is down by 1.3%. It's still pushing down. $1.56%. Guys, thank you for stopping by. I'm still believe that, you know, we need to get go a little bit higher up. It was a nice pump, but unfortunately the pump is not enough. I do hope that we can actually break up here and, you know, create a spring eventually. But right now we are hitting the resistance lines, and the resistance line do tend to, you know, act. So, you know, hopefully we don't dump all the way back down there, right? Hopefully they don't dump all the way back down there. Guys, thanks for stopping by. We're gonna do Bitcoin Daily again. I'm gonna go and work out, do some, you know, magic with my body. I got a new chair. I gotta get a new body as well. I mean, you cannot have the old body with the new chair. You gotta have a, you know, new body with the new chair. That's how these things works. So hopefully this dump doesn't go all the way down there. Hopefully just consolidate up here somewhere, right, and then, you know, move towards the upside. But Tuesday is a big day for numbers. And I've seen that, you know, forecasts are lower than expected, so maybe that's gonna pump us. So right now, after yesterday's pump and, you know, and euphoria hitting in right now, the pullback is coming, the consolidation is coming. We're gonna see how well we do on this consolidation phase up here at the top. So do join us tomorrow on Bitcoin Daily, because, you know, that's gonna be very, very important one. Guys, thank you for stopping by. I'll see you again. Bye bye. Where's the outro?